captivated by a place. I mean awestruck, overwhelmed by its beauty. When surrounded by that place, you feel completely content and present like never before. Your whole body, mind, and soul feels as though you are exactly where you ought to be and doing the very thing that you are doing. The Sub-Antarctic island of South Georgia was that place for me. It moved me like no other to a point that my desire to see the entire island by sea kayak surpassed my intelligence. A crazy dream was born, and accomplishing that goal, it basically became my life. Now, when you place an immense amount of time, energy, and a lot of cash into fulfilling a dream, a lot becomes at stake. All eggs are placed in one basket, all chicks in this case, and all bets are on the same horse. Because of this reason, you seem to take more risks, and the expectations to succeed are inevitable. It has to turn out the way that I planned, right? There's no other way, right? I became emotionally attached to the idea that I would be the first to solo sea kayak around South Georgia Island. No matter what, I would not give up. And then a series of events changed the entire outcome of the expedition. Firstly, I was left high and dry by my main sponsor, who pulled out only weeks before I was about to depart. To prevent this from happening the following year, I told a white lie and got a loan from my bank. After traveling to Argentina, I boarded a 54-foot steel hull sailboat and set sail on a 10-day journey to South Georgia. And then an accident at sea occurred, injuring our skipper. With the main man down, we had to turn around away from the island. We drifted further away from my dream and further away from what I'd been working for. It took us three days to get to the Falkland Islands to seek medical assistance. And once we were there, the skipper was taken care of, and we went into a search for a new skipper. It was a waiting game, an absolutely long waiting game, as we spent 2 weeks searching with no luck. The day we were about to terminate the expedition, Skipper Brian showed up, and off we went, set sail to South Georgia, arriving 3 weeks behind schedule. And then the series of events continued. Prior to my arrival, my kayak had been delivered to South Georgia, and it did not make it unscathed. It was battered and bruised. As well, the base commander of 17 years told me that this is the worst summer he's seen on record. Broad, long-lasting storm systems were present throughout the entire ocean crossings, and the waters around South Georgia were not much better. Once I departed, ahead of me were many beach-bound days where I would face treacherous conditions unfavorable for kayaking. And finally, an earthquake in Chile occurred, which basically closed the airport we were about to fly out of at the end of the expedition. New seats on a new flight in a completely different airport limited our options even further. The outcome? I spent 16 days kayaking, camping, waiting for the wind to drop, and I only got a third of the way around South Georgia Island. The 3-week delay, we ran out of time. The 3-week delay set us back, and the weather was not compatible with that reduced time. My goal had not been achieved. My dream was not fulfilled. It did not turn out the way that I planned, the way I told my friends, my family, my sponsors it would. I felt like I had lost the battle, succumbed to defeat. I dreaded returning to Canada in debt with only stories of a failed expedition to tell. I know what you're thinking. What's wrong with this woman? It's time I pull my head out of the sand, right? A moment of clarity and looking at the situation from a different perspective changed things a little. It changed me a lot. Let's look at what I did succeed in. I persevered during all of the setbacks and got pretty good at coming up with plan Bs and Cs. Because of that, I kayaked and camped alone around parts of South Georgia. I raised awareness for the albatross, which was the cause I chose to dedicate the expedition to. Thousands of people followed my journey, followed my blog, and perhaps I even inspired them to then set forth and fulfill their dreams. The lack of miles that I completed became a mere technicality. Don't be disappointed by what other people perceive or foresee as failure. Stuff them, I say. The lessons learned while in the school of South Georgia started with this question. Is success or failure determined by whether or not you fulfill your dreams and goals the way that you planned? Planning an expedition is okay. Ducks in a row is okay. Obstacles causing us to not complete an event is also okay. This is when the true lessons start and the real adventure begins. The real adventure in expeditioning is the uncertainty of how it actually turns out. You know, most explorers set off and they end up in a completely different place than intended, but they discover much, much more. I was challenged more than I would have been if everything went as planned. My ingenuity, my courage was strengthened, my perseverance was tested. I came to realize that my dream or the journey itself did not fail. It just changed course. When the goal is no longer achievable, reconstruct it. So what I'm suggesting is that we embrace the curveballs in life. I now know that success and failure can happen in one moment. That success is something that we want. Failure is something we actually need. These opportunities to learn and grow often go unnoticed, perhaps because of the misconceptions of failure. In one lifetime, perhaps more dreams go unfulfilled than fulfilled. And it's not from them failing, it's from the lack of trying because we fear to fail. Imagine if we did not fear to fail, we would have the courage to do absolutely anything. Our dreams would be unstoppable. I'm finishing off with a quote. Wherever you can go, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. That's by Goethe. And I'm finished. Thank you.